Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Overwatch All-Stars Brawl, presented to you by Star Esports. Of course, this is a double elimination tournament dedicated to Overwatch Tier 3 community, which you'll see a lot of tonight. And we're also very thankful for our partners, OmniCoach. You can actually go to their website, omnicoach.gg, get a promo code Star Esports, and get 10% off of the first video package you order with them. So that's pretty cool. But let's not dawdle anymore. We're gonna have the New England Whalers versus Torbulance tonight. I'm Man of Class, joined tonight, of course, by the lovely Shy Guy once again. How are you tonight?
Oh, I am doing pretty good today, actually. I'm really excited for the games that we have here tonight. Like you said, some lower bracket action, which means that this is a win or go home situation, which always, in my mind, kind of brings out the best in our teams.
Yeah, and we've had a relatively interesting first period of the brawl this time around, because we've seen only one match that hasn't ended in a 3-0 so far, which was between Aptix Esports and Full Send. So that's something. Full Send we'll see later tonight. For now, we're gonna focus on New England Whalers and Torbulance. They both lost their first game, obviously, because otherwise they wouldn't be in the lower bracket. Both in a 3-0 fashion, but they lost against Redacted and SK Esports, respectively. So New England Whalers versus Redacted. Redacted, we've seen them before. They're, a pretty damn impressive team, if I do say so myself. And SK Esports is also like a returning force. So it's not names that we'd expect to necessarily lose, but a 3-0 fashion can say a lot of things.
Certainly, and you and I actually casted both of those games last week, so we can sit here and say that 3-0 is perhaps a little bit deceptive in both of these cases. The individual maps throughout those series were actually quite close for the most part, and gave us some pretty entertaining Overwatch. It's just that one team barely edged the other out, 3 times in a row. Sometimes it happens that way. But now I think we're going to start to get in to perhaps some more, close matches in terms of the scoreboard, at least.
Very possible, and of course we're always looking forward to matches like that. And looks like we're going to be starting out on Ilios today, which is it's a control map, obviously, and I'm looking forward to this one. I mean, Ilios, it's one of those where it's not been as goats heavy as it has been on a lot of other maps, and especially with some meta shits coming in lately, it might just be a very fun one to watch, at least variety wise.
Certainly, and it's one of the control maps where I think the map order or the sub map order really matters quite a bit here. Starting things out on Well versus starting on Ruins or Lighthouse is a very different proposition, and it can really affect how teams play things out. It'll be very interesting to see what kind of compositions we see from both of these teams. Well has always been one for the Orisa and the Roadhog to make an appearance. The pulled pork, the oink and yoink combo is very prevalent there, while the other maps kind of just lend themselves to very different play styles, so we get to see a lot of variety here.
Yeah, I personally like sticking to the halt and hook combo, because that's just, it's a little bit more, more. It's not as out there, it's a little bit of a thing. But the oink and yoink, that's new to me. I love it. Let's get into this game. It looks like we're going to Ilios first, and a lot of this will sort of also depend on what do you get, like what stage do you get first in order to start off your match. And it's gonna be a thing. Let's see. It will be the Well first, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
Well.
So
hooks definitely a thing. Halt's definitely a thing, but could also run that DPS couple to that, right?
Certainly. I think we saw quite a bit of the Orisa from both of these teams last week. So that's kind of my expectation here, at least from one side of things. I have a feeling that Torbulance might be going in a different direction. If I remember correctly, they just played the Winston Goats here on Ilios on Well last time, so that could very much be in the cards, as well as, like you said, the DPS could really run free here on Ilios, and it looks like we'll be getting to see at least a little bit of that.
Yeah, it's right now just Orissa's and Roadhogs in spawn. Not something I'm definitely against. It's something we've seen coming up. I do feel though, yeah, I was gonna say Lure is likely gonna go over to that support character because as good as Ana is, she's not often used in that solo role.
No, definitely not. And so we are going to see Torbulance break out 2 DPS alongside the Orisa Roadhog, whereas on the other side, New England Whalers a little bit, more sticking to the meta. It's still 3 tanks, 3 supports, although this is not the 3-3 we've seen for so long.
Nice early arrival, good hauled hook straight away. The shield wasn't quite there yet, and Honey Badger manages to dodge the well because Sirius was booped in. Very nice start here on their side so far. They get Druin as well, and that's going to be the first point control. Well, kind of convincingly going up to New England Whalers here.
Yeah, well, both of these compositions are really designed around kind of winning the poke battle, but if you can land a hook immediately, it throws all of that out the window. Whichever team can hit that ability is going to be at a massive advantage, and we see that there.
They took a very aggressive positioning, and Biz actually gets punished by a sleep and a hook combo, so they're going to be a little bit of a disadvantage here, but Raccoona is going to be able to fight. It's also going to fire so freely. He's just poking down the shield for now, but there's so much space being bought by the kill on that Roadhog. That halt is huge though. Gets serious, and Rizzo actually gets to be flying up once again because those boosters on D.Va are so important. They're actually pushing them back here, breaking their shield of Druin. And it looks like New England Whalers are going to be able to set up pretty comfortably on the point so far.
And they even managed to take down Raccoona. Lucid Science landing that from long range. That's going to slow them down, although the res is there.
They went to the side. The Nana Barrage comes out, but once again the defense matrix of Rizzo doing a lot to block a lot of that. They will lose Honey Badger. Rizzo's mech also going down, so they'll finally lose control at this point eventually. But while Lucid Science is alive, that's still a rough one to take. The Enigma is just corralling around the Orisa trying to save the life of Lucid Science. Won't be able to happen there. But they're just stalling this out. Even the Rally Brigade goes in. They're trying to get the boops out. The sound barrier comes out. They're just stalling this out. And they might actually buy enough time for all the respawns to come back in. There's Honey Badger. Sirius and Raccoona have fallen. This looks so good here. And New England Whalers pull that from the brink. They just pull it back. How did that happen?
The supports there just keeping things alive long enough for Biz to get back in there with the whole hog. Kind of comes around on a bit of a flank there. They weren't looking out for the hook and the Roadhog ultimate, and it just really costs Torbulance there.
Really did. They're throwing the dragon out because they're likely to switch Snozzler? No, they're not. He just threw it out. I don't know why. Maybe they wanted to zone them a little bit. But Lucid Science under a lot of pressure from that Pharah now. There's a Saw the Struck. Comes in for Rizzo. Will it get any kills? No, it won't. A little bit too high to get the Sleeping Roadhog. Biz will find Druin though. And that's often the only pick you need. Just get that shield out of the way. The rest just soon follows. It's only Raccoona alive, and yeah, that's just not going to be enough. It's going to be 100-0 on the first point of well, and that's a good start for New England Whalers.
Absolutely, and there were a couple moments where it looked like it was going Torbulance's direction, but they couldn't ever quite secure the kills in a timely enough fashion. They would get 2 or 3, but couldn't quite finish off the members of New England Whalers who just hung on for dear life, knew how to ride that edge perfectly, and take a very convincing first stage here on Ilios.
Yeah, very much so. I will say, though, for anyone watching at home, Control is obviously not the most reliable one to see which team is better. And well, especially hard to retake. So if you lose that first fight, it's often going to be a tough one to get back. We're going to see this Dive Goats coming out now on one side, and still the bunker on the New England Whaler side.
And Torbulance wasn't finding a whole lot of success going up against this hardcore defensive bunker setup from New England Whalers with the 3 tanks and 3 healers. It is so hard to burst anyone down.
They have a lot more space to work with here, and they're already trying to use it, approaching from a few different angles with the tanks and the Brigitte. But Raccoona, anti-nated, will actually live, but it's going to be Slick. It's just booped off the edge. That means that they're going to have the speed advantage, the space advantage, and they're just going to dive in. Nice anti-nade comes out from Honey Badger with a counter on, actually from Tony, but yeah, Honey Badger saves them with another one. Biz goes down off the cliff. Raccoona already getting 2 with that whip shot, and this is going to be the first control in the first fight win, going over to Torbulance. They're bringing it back.
Certainly, they look a little bit more practiced on this 3-3 composition here on the goats, and that doesn't surprise me at all. This is a team that was probably at their best in the goats meta, so getting back to that I think gives them a little bit of an advantage here on Ruins.
Druin close to prime rates already because of all that AoE damage he does with those cannons. Well, one cannon really. Snozzler close to that Graviton. Lucid being slept though, this could be a big deal, but they don't have a Reinhardt to charge him, so they won't be able to burst him down that easily. And there's the anti-nade coming out from Tony once again, the really good one. There have been a lot of good anti-nades here so far from both Anas really, and the Nano Reinhardt will he get a lot, not with his team just being corralled up by that Graviton. There's going to be Snoz and Raccoona actually falling. No follow-up on the Grav so far, and that means that the point is likely going to flip over. But now the only question is how much percent will they be able to build up by stalling?
It doesn't look like it's really going to be too much here, with Lure being the only one still alive on the point. Will get hunted down. 65% on the board for Torbulance is not too bad as they swap over to a Reinhardt of their own.
I think they bought about 10% just after they sort of lost the fight already. So that's still something going to be happy about. 65 is better than 55, I always say.
Absolutely, and it goes both ways. That's 10% that the New England Whalers aren't going to have as they continue to build up here, already at 20%.
There's a nice shadow from Lucid Science though, just gets almost the entire team. Druin falls, and that is going to be a very good start to the fight here from Lucid Science. They're just gonna push them back. They're saying, you know what, we don't want to fight with a Reinhardt, but are they gonna get any stagger kills? Because Tony looks to be in a little bit of a land on his own. Will be able to live, and that's going to be a nice anti to start it off from Honey Badger. No, nice eat from Biz. That's great. That's a great eat on that Graviton because they wanted to go in on that, but now they couldn't because it was not there. There's a nice charge from Druin. Both Nano Reinhardts out here. They're swinging, glowing hammers. Lucid Science falls first, and it looks like this is going to be a very good fight here for the Turbulence. Take down Enigma as well, and it looks like, yeah, they're going to be able to take control. And once again, stalling gonna happen, but oh, it's almost even. They got it at 64.
They come 1%, right? 1% shy of the tie there.
The OCD kicks in.
And yeah, you saw the Grav eat coming out from Sirius there. Biz just a little too telegraphed there. He was going low, got a bit desperate, tried to throw it out, and Sirius is right there to snatch it away. So now we're down to last fight territory for the New England Whalers.
87% and counting. Nice shatter though coming out from Druin, gets Enigma on the ground, and it's going to be Lucid Science close to one of his own, but will he get it off in time? The self-destruct to sort of counter the follow-up, but Druin still falls. So Lucid Science also does. So it looks like this is just going to be Turbulence getting it because Biz cannot make it to the point in time. That was a nice fight to just space them off the point, really.
Yeah, that was fantastic by Turbulence there to make sure that New England Whalers weren't going to have the opportunity to even trigger the overtime there. You never know what can happen in a situation like that. And they don't even let that possibility come anywhere close to fruition. So well played by Snozzler, using that Grav to really zone them away.
Definitely very well done. And we're going over to Lighthouse now. So once again, a little bit of a change of scenery. Looks like we're going to be seeing both Reinhardts once again come out, the Zarias as well, but could it be Rizzo on the Sombra?
It looks like it is to be, which is a little bit of a different look here, but I like it because there's a little bit more room here on Lighthouse for Rizzo to get in on angles, find a lot of poke, and build up those EMPs very quickly.
If even the San Francisco Shock, who say that Sombra is a crutch, are using it in the finals, you know it's a good pick, so they're going to go hard into it with it. Raccoona once again gets anti-nated, but doesn't get down, and it's going to actually be Druin, well, not being charged because Lucid Science got booped off the cliff while he was trying to charge, so it's going to be the shield advantage here for Turbulence, and it looks like they're going to be using that to their advantage to take the point first.
They absolutely will, and now they're looking to collapse here onto Enigma, who just going to boop Druin off the edge.
Raccoona gets Druin, no, gets Enigma, but Enigma gets Druin, so they're trading out a little bit, but now it's the right advantage for for New England Whalers, and they're just smacking into it. Lucid Science gets one. There's the Nano onto the Brigade of Raccoona, so they're just trying to stall out a little bit. Will they get that Lucio off the cliff? It looks like it, so Slick will fall. So does Tony, so does Raccoona, so it looks like this is finally going to be the switch coming over here for New England Whalers. But that was a weird fight.
That was very bizarre there, as they do manage to retake here after 26% on the board for New England or for Torbulance rather. Riso almost up to that first EMP. In fact, a lot of ultimates on the line for the side of New England Whalers.
They're going in hard with that rally straight away from Raccoona. The Shatter doesn't get anything from Lucid Science, so now it's going to be up to the other side. The EMP is there from Riso though, and that's going to hit everyone. So now they're going to have to try and stay alive somehow through that. Raccoona and Druin already down. Looks like this is going to be another fight win for the New England Whalers, but they had to expend quite a lot to get that.
They absolutely did, and I think that's more than likely best case scenario. For Torbulance here, yes, they lose that fight, but they draw out so many resources. The Earth Shatter got absolutely nothing. The Rally is gone for Enigma. But still the tools to win a fight here for the New England Whalers. The Grav, the Nano, and Slick with that sound barrier for the Stain.
There's the Nano onto the Druin already. He's going to try and smack the Lucid Science, but that anti gets cleansed. There's a grab. The self-destruct is sort of countered, and they don't have the self-destruct on the other side. This is going to be a free grab, and it actually gets... well, enough people. Slick gets away on like 3 HP, but Lucid Science is actually trading for him already. Gets Raccoona and Tony out, so it's going to be a fairly even fight. And Lucid Science just turns it completely around. Slick gets the boop kill on a Sirius, and looks like this is going to be another fight with Whalers. In the meantime, that point was flipped for a little bit though, so not all the percentage they wanted got caught up.
Now, and that might be the saving grace for Torbulance here. It means they'll probably get 2 fights to close out Illos to try to retake here. Whereas if they had not gotten that mid-fight, back cap, they could be in a bit of trouble here.
Tony and Lure going over through the high grounds. No, they're just dropping down again. They don't want to get caught up by Riso, who has another EMP. Likely going to drop in like a few seconds. Just throw that one out. Heck, everyone. The range is big enough, so we'll get 4. He gets 3, actually, but Druin is the only one they really wanted. Goes down straight away. Rest just has to run for the hills, and they're not able to run fast enough because Lure's too far away. Tony and Sirius will fall. Snozzler as well. And now they have to really try and get back to the point somehow. And it's only going to be Lure who's able to make it. Lure did make it there, but where's the rest? They need to be there quick because Lure's already down and overtime is ticking. Druin gets hacked up, and yeah, that's going to be New England Whalers taking map 1 in a interesting fashion.
Certainly. Honestly, from Torbulance there, they were a little bit too slow to try to take that final fight in my mind. They let it build up to 85% before they really tried to engage. By that point, the EMP from Riso was more than enough to finish the job and secure the map for New England Whalers. A pretty back and forth affair here on Ilios, so I have a feeling we are in for a pretty good series here tonight.
Definitely possible, although it did seem that Sombra was very, very oppressive for the side of Torbulence. So it could very much be that if that Sombra is continuously run on different maps as well, that might pose a problem.
No, it definitely could, and will be something to keep an eye out for. Riso breaking out for the first time there on Lighthouse and finding great results. Both of those EMPs were absolutely fight winning, and they were playing well around his hacks as well. So very, very well earned first map there for New England Whalers.
And if you do feel that Riso did a very good job on that Sombra, maybe also on the Diva, or if you'd rather say, you know what, no, I'm gonna give it to Raccoona for just throwing people off the map off that brigade. You could already vote for MVPs. I mean, there is a poll underneath the Twitch. You can just click on that, click on the name you like most right now, and give them a vote. On the other hand, though, you could also wait. We've only seen the first map. We're going to get at least another 2, so just hold off. You could just wait for that. What you could do in the meantime, though, hit the follow button, hit the subscribe button. I mean, go all out, whatever you want. We appreciate all the support we get, and yeah, we hope to see more of it. For now, though, gonna see the map ban coming in. So since New England Whalers just won a map, they're gonna get to ban one, because that then cannot be picked. Let's see, what are we gonna be seeing on the ban side? I think Paris been banned. I think that's what more.
Yes.
Paris is not on the map. Well, they wanted to ban Paris, but it's not on the map also. You know what? Let's just not. So we're gonna see Hanamura be banned, which means we're gonna see any of the other assault maps, hybrid maps, or escort maps next, because we can't play control twice in a row. And I actually don't know which one they would be going for. Do you think they have a preference inside of Torbulance?
I mean, I'm sure that they do, but I can't say for sure what it would be. In my mind, they looked at their best when they were playing Goats, or at least the Winston variant of Goats there on Ilios. So I wouldn't be surprised if they take us to a map where Goats is, still very much playable. There are certain maps you don't want to go to. Paris, if it were in the map pool, would be an example of one such map. But still waiting on Turbulence's pick here. They're taking their time.
It's good they're taking their time, because they mean they're obviously thinking about it, but like actually probably discussing, and they might actually be in a little bit of an impasse, like which do we go for? Because on escort you have Junkertown and Dorado. On hybrid you have Icon, Hollywood, and Numbani. On assault you still have Temple of Anubis and Horizon. Looks like they want to go with Hollywood. And why do you think they do that? Like, what's their game? What do you think they're gonna go for?
I think this kind of lines up with what I was just talking about in terms of wanting to run, the 3-3 for the most part, or at least whenever possible. Hollywood's still a very, very good map for that. Yes, there are options. You can very easily run the Sombra. That would be the one thing that kind of worries me if I'm Turbulence here. If Riso can run wild on that Sombra, Hollywood can kind of be a playground.
Have they also not already been beaten on like the bunker strat from New England Whalers? So could that also be a problem?
Certainly on the first point defense, it's very much in play. This is one of the better maps for, or at least points in the game for bunker. Realistically, you can sit back up on either high ground, depending on where you want to, you prefer to set up. But that cafe especially, it can be very tough to crack.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to be seeing a side switch for anyone who might be confused by that. New England Whalers will be attacking first in the red, and we'll have Turbulence on the defense in the blue. So yeah, they're going to choose to defend first or attack first on the side of the New England Whalers rather than defend first. Interesting choice. I don't know why you necessarily would or wouldn't. That's always a team preference, I suppose. But regardless, we're going to see that happen. And Hollywood. I mean, the place is where dreams come true, right? Or, that's what they say. I think a lot of dreams are shattered there as well, but that's another story.
My dreams were shattered by the director in the car. Actually, all his yelling at me, it really, really turned me off from show business, I gotta say.
Okay. Well, I mean, you got to remember, right? It's a different universe, different future. It's an Omnic director as well, so there's a lot of things about that wouldn't happen in reality. So there's still definitely a possibility for you to make it in showbiz if you want, Shy Guy.
Okay, you've restored my faith. I'm gonna go for it.
Good.
I'm moving to LA tomorrow.
Yeah, can you talk about some Overwatch first though, because it's still not tomorrow.
It is still not tomorrow, but we are going to see the full bunker setup coming out from Turbulence here, including Snozzler on this Bastion. Racuna picking up the Pharah is going to be kind of out on his own, looking to deal some damage, soften people up, perhaps follow up on some of the damage Snozzler is laying out as well.
We gotta see the classic, the Nano Blade setup. That's what they're gonna go for to attack this. I've said this multiple times. That's the one you always see come out, and I'm not surprised to see it.
No, I mean it's a great way to deal with these targets who are holed up in one location. You dive in there, glowing and swinging your sword, and they will fall real quick as long as you can deal with that immortality field from Tony.
The Immortality Field has not come out just yet from Tony. They're really just trying to poke and prod. They tried to boop not with Lucid, but he didn't actually get anyone with that because the Bastion and the Orisa just dodged it. I mean, Bastion did dodge it, he just doesn't get booped out. Nice sleep onto Druin though. He gets booped out of the high ground, really, but they're just setting up in a different place. Snozzler has moved as well. They're still blocking the point. Lure gets the res off. looks like they've held for now.
Certainly in Lucid Science, still behind enemy lines. They're trying to chase him down, and Snozlar will be able to get it.
They got him. Biz is on the point now. He's going to just try to get behind them, hack, and maybe do some damage again. But they're doing this very slow DPS poke style, right?
Certainly. I mean, the whole point here is you are waiting to get these ultimates online. It's a tough ask for you to go in and win these fights without the blade, without the EMP, without the nano boost.
And Slick already down. I really like what Raccoon is doing with that off-angle DPS. He just takes down Biz as well. This is going well for them.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of solves one of the problems you have when you run Bastion, which is you only have line of sight over so much area because you're not really moving from back up in this cafe. Raccoon can patrol the rest of the territory and make that ground just as dangerous as anywhere else.
You see Lucid Science going very far behind the enemy team. I mean, they know he's there. He just doesn't want to be shot by anything before he makes his move. But yeah, they do have tabs on him, as you call it. The Nano Blade is not even ready yet. It's just going to be so many ultimates for the defense. There's the first one. Tony does fall to Biz though, so no immortality field, but that's a nice self-destruct. Just zone out a lot of things. The barrage comes out from Racuna, and they do get Enigma, not with the barrage, but before that already. Is it going to be enough? Looks like Tony will be rezzed, so that's a lot of extra healing, but that means Druid cannot be rezzed after he falls. Racuna goes down to Honey Badger, and it looks like that might have broken through. New England Whalers, in a very chaotic fight, managed to actually get it in the end.
Certainly, and a small part of that is that they have the close response here. They get reinforcements back into the fight a little bit quicker, and they are able to slowly win that out. And the biggest thing for them is they got to keep so many of their ultimates, the Nano Blade, the EMP, the Sound Barrier. It is all still at their disposal.
Yeah, how effective they're going to be in this more open space, that's another question. It does seem like Druin just wants to stay on the Orisa, probably partially for the ult. Maybe also because they just think it's better. There's already the supercharger. They throw out the EMP straight away. Nanoblade to follow it. Nanoblade not getting any value though. It only gets Tony, and that's not enough. You would think, oh, they finally get the kill to Druin as well, but they're trading. Lucid Science gone down as well as Honey Badger. So it's a relatively even fight still. With that high charge Zarya of Snozlar, they could still be potentially going to the defense, but Sirius out of the mech and Lure falling. I think Snozlar just wants to keep this retreat and just keep the charge.
Oh, for sure. He is out of there immediately. He's already actually going to perhaps regain some control of the high ground for his team to come out here and recontest. He's going to be very dangerous up in this position. New England Whalers need to keep their eye on him.
Definitely do, and they are now pushing forward. They still have the Reinhardt now, of course. Lucid Science, not yet close to the Shatter. So Druin might actually be able to catch up with that. But meanwhile, it's just a Diva battle on the high ground. Sirius and Rizzo going to battle it out, and Rizzo wins that out. So it's actually going to be in a dominant high ground position here. And Racuna get almost overwhelmed here by Lucid Science. There's a self-destruct. They're able to block that out. Oh, I say that, but actually Sirius and Snozlar will go down to that because the shield wasn't there in time or they weren't positioned properly. Lure will fall as well. And that's just one ultimate, one fight one. That's actually not that great here for the defense.
Yeah, and just a slight mispositioning there from Lucid Science as he's backing up, trying to get behind the self-destruct to shield his team. He just gets too close to it. The angle of the shield is not perfect, and he can't save all of his teammates. So now they're gonna have to try to recontest here, and they might have to invest some ults.
They really do. There's already the Graviton. They have the Nano out. Counter Shatter is much better from Druin. So it looks like they will just clean up this fight. They had to use a little bit of ultimates for it, but both teams seem to be relatively even. So fight win, point holds, and you have defensive spawns as well. This looks like it could be okay here with only a minute left.
That is more than okay for Torbulance as they storm out onto the cart. Yes, they'll be slightly behind on some of the ultimates. It's going to be a grav versus no grav for Snozlar. But all in all, they've got to be very happy with that now, approaching a hold here on Hollywood B.
They're definitely approaching it, but this looks like if this fight's gonna go long, this is gonna be the last proper one. The rally is already out from Enigma. and will not be answered by anything just yet. Raccoon actually falls, but there's a sound barrier from Laura likely coming out. There it is. Slick still has his, though. Could be a fight-turning ultimate here, especially with the numbers advantage. Snozzler goes down to the Shatter, will get hacked. Druin falls as well, and that looks like it's going to be the fight win here for the Unit Whalers, and that should also mean they get point 2, but barely though. They have 15 seconds left. Not going to be a lot of time to get into point C here.
No, but they do have a little bit of momentum on their side. Not a ton of ultimates to do it. Both support ultimates, and crucially that EMP. Oh, that is brutal.
I mean, it was going to happen, obviously, but it's just still a shame that it happens. Could have gone either way that last fight, so maybe they obviously didn't think that forward spawns were going to be an issue. At least I hope they wouldn't.
No, definitely not. But Torbulance, plenty of time to regroup here, and a lot of tools to fight their way back and regain control of this cart. They want to do this as quickly as possible, guarantee themselves another fight after this one.
Nice self-destruct coming out. Actually zones out a lot. Honey Badger already losing all the sound barrier benefit they got. There is the Transcendence, though. Both main tanks down. This could look well for either team, really. And looks like Raccoon is going to be the first one to fall outside of that. Transcendence comes out for a defending team of Torbulance, but there's the grab. Nothing to stop that one from happening. Both support ultimates already used, and it looks like it's going to be another fight from the Unit Whalers. They do take another 40-50 seconds off the clock, though, so it's going to be one more fight, and then it's overtime. And they still haven't made it to the end of the map, so still okay.
Yeah, and Risa with the EMP is probably going to be the deciding factor. If he can land a big one here, he could give New England Whalers the chance.
He definitely could, but I don't think he really hits anyone. I mean, only Druin and Sirius are hacked right now, but they're not really going to have that much trouble with that. A Shattered of Druin doesn't get much, though. Rizzo falls, but so does Snozzler. Lure has the sound barrier, though, and no support on the other side just yet, so they could pull it back with that. A lot of extra health being gained from that, and their spawns are closer. There's Raccoona falling. Sirius on the card gets demacked as well. And Tony dodges their Shatter with that Moira fade. So still a lot of back and forth plays here. But the kills need to come in from the defense if they want to hold on to this. And it doesn't look like they're able to do so. Lure is the last one standing on the card, just skating his way around with that Lucio. And it looks like that's going to be the map completion in overtime.
Just barely getting through there by the skin of their teeth are the New England Whalers. Like you said, Tony, with some fancy footwork to dodge the Earth Shatter, doesn't have the fade to dodge the Graviton Surge, and with that kill go the chances for Torbulence of really turning that one around. The Coalescence might have been able to do it, but it was not to be. They do force it into overtime, so still an opportunity here for Torbulence if you could come through with a quick attack round.
Yeah, and of course it did take a while to take point A, especially with all that bunker set up. Do you think we're going to see something similar from New England Whalers?
I have a feeling it's probably in the cards here. We've already seen them run the bunker setup on Ilios to great success. So I can't say it would shock me at all to see that, but perhaps they go for something a little more versatile. No, they're going full bunker.
Now, guys, this is not full bunker.
Well,
this is something different. This is something new. This is something that we Europeans brought to you guys. What is this called? How does it work?
This is the Clockwork Vendetta composition, and it works very similar to bunker compositions in general, especially here on Hollywood. You're gonna have so much poke damage coming in from Biz. Lucid Science Reso, it's really going to make progressing onto the point very difficult for Torbulence here.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're going to come in now, and I'm ready to see what they're going to do, because they're not holding on the high ground. They're actually standing as far forward as they potentially can. So it doesn't look like the traditional bunker setup at all here, Shy Guy. You're lying to me.
Well, they're spreading out, which is not something you normally see a whole lot of. They're going to be right here out in the open, which in my mind makes them a little bit vulnerable to Raccoona on the Pharah.
I mean, it could, but Raccoona has to get over that edge first, and they're just shooting down. That turret will never miss. So as long as they're shooting at Pharah, they're going to be fine, and Raccoona just falls to that same turret once again. I predict things, and they happen. It's not a caster curse, it's a caster blessing, we call it, guys. But they're gonna try and come through the choke here. I think you gotta wait for Raccoon for a little bit.
Certainly, they kind of have to. He's going to be their primary source of DPS in these coming fights. They're going for a very slow, steady, patient style here, running the Orisa their own, but it's not working out.
Raccoon! It wasn't even an air hook. You think Raccoon just gets hooked out of the sky because he's just flying over them? No. He's just on the ground behind the Orisa shield, and they just time it so beautifully, saying this is when the shield breaks, this is when we hook them. And that is something that's nice to see. Snozzler going over to the Ashe now. They don't want to have to deal with anything. They want to have to deal with more range and more. The Dynamite's probably going to be the thing they're running it for.
Well, they've been losing the poke battle pretty darn hard so far, and so they're going to just add more and more poke with the Hanzo.
Druin just falls straight away. That's so much gone. They're not even using a damage boost. It's just, I mean, they're using the Zenyatta orb, but it's not the same thing.
No, definitely not.
Another hook.
Oh, this is
Lucid Science and Riso. Riso has been showing up big tonight. Lucid Science also to a degree, but Riso has just been excelling on every hero we've seen him on so far. And they just continue going. They actually try to move up a little bit. This is confidence showing here from the Ultimate Whalers.
Well, why wouldn't you be confident at this point? You are kind of styling on Torbulance a little bit right now. Racuna is approaching this barrage, and that could be an option.
Oh, the hook on Snozzler doesn't get the kill here, but there is the supercharger. Tony's down to the Molten Core. Snozzler also falling. Yes, they get the rest on the Zenyatta, but Racuna falls in the meantime. So another attack looks to be stifled, and yeah, they're just gonna clean him up. Clean him up, take him home, throw him out with the water. It's just, yeah, taking out the trash, as they call it.
This is difficult to watch right now for Torbulance. They are really lost at this point.
Well, I mean, explain to me, right? Because we don't see them holding on the high ground. Like, why is this approach so different from what Bunker normally does?
Well, I mean, it doesn't give you any kind of space to get through the choke. They are just controlling this area so decisively right now, whereas the Bunker...
Oh, Racuna tried. Racuna got Slick, though, and that's the main source of healing. No mercy on their side, so that means that Slick is down permanently. But Druin gets hooked in, doesn't get saved by that Transcendence whatsoever. And meanwhile, Riso can just heal back up. Goes up to Snozzler, gets another kill. Sirius blocked up by the wall will also die to Enigma there. And what looked like a good opening is just turning into another disaster.
And I mean that was just multiple ultimates used for absolutely no gain there for Torbulance, and now they're down to their last gasp. They have not come anywhere close to the point so far, and I have a feeling they might get frozen on their way there this time.
Yeah, they're gonna go over to the Junkrat this time around, but the halt just ensures that they can't run far enough to not get frozen. Tony will fall. Bob doesn't even make it to the point because of the blizzard. They just burst him down as well, and it's just going to be a complete wash of damage going over to the attackers. New Whaler showing up big with this Clockwork Vendetta comp, and gotta say, I love it.
And Torbulance didn't really, in my mind, look very prepared for that at all.
Nope.
You know, their problem the entire time was really just making their way through the initial choke point. And so when that is the problem that or the hurdle that you can't get over, at that point I would like to see them try to do something a little bit different. You know, go over to a dive setup, break out the Genji and the Sombra that we saw from New England Whalers, do something to at least, you know, get past that first hurdle.
Yeah, like I said, right? It's something that originated in Europe. It's called the Clockwork comp for a reason, because Clockwork Vendetta started it, just like Goats was started by a team called Goats. And the main ways we've seen it been countered, there's actually not that many, because Clockwork Vendetta is still winning contenders right now.
Obviously.
But, yeah. So there's not that many ways that's easy to counter, but what we've seen it counter so far has been these triple DPS setups with the Hanzo, the Pharah, and the Ashe. So that idea was not necessarily bad. But like you said, they weren't prepared or practiced for it, and that is kind of the strength of the composition. Because no one can... I mean, even if you can predict what it is, it's still hard to find out how the enemy actually runs it, and you don't get as much practice time against it as well. So, you know what? It could definitely look really good for that comp to really do more.
And you know, I think another piece of the puzzle here is that we haven't seen that comp like really make its way fully into like the NA side of things yet. It has been very successful on the other side of the pond, but I don't think the teams over here are really practiced at all at running into it.
So, like, the one team we've seen it run has been okay with it, but they had other issues. Let's keep it at that. So, like you said, not that very big in NA so far, and we'll see if that continues. I mean, maybe we'll get it in. Maybe we'll get it if the meta shifts a little bit more, or if other things change about the game. Like, it's very possible, of course, but I don't know. Like you said, it's relatively unexplored for now.
No, it's we are really just starting to see the ripples of what Clockwork Vendetta is doing start to make their way through the rest of the tier 2 and tier 3 scene. So there's still a lot of time for this to continue to develop and for teams to get more practice, get better at countering it. Because like you said, even if you theoretically know what works well against it, if you haven't practiced it and you aren't fully up to date on how those individual heroes need to play against it, you aren't going to be able to just throw the heroes in there and immediately counter it. It's not that easy.
It might not be that easy, but you would think it's doable, right? I thought May and Torbjorn were troll picks. I thought no one could play those heroes seriously. I mean, Defran can, but he's a god, so that's different. But
I think Torb has sneakily been not a bad pick and definitely not a troll pick for quite a while now. I mean, he was at a state where recently they just had to give him nerfs. So it's not like Torb has been a bad pick by any means. We've just been so mired in goats and its variants for so long that it really hasn't come to light until recently.
No, and it looks like we're gonna go to Oasis after we see the ban on Horizon come through. Yeah, Horizon's out, so we're gonna go to Oasis. Could be the last map of the series, and so far I think New England Whalers have shown a very much dedication to making that happen.
Certainly, they looked firmly in control, especially after that last map. Ilios was relatively close, but New England Whalers dominated Hollywood and are really asserting themselves. It's not a surprise. We know this is a very good team. We've seen them plenty of times before, and they are showing that they are adapting to the shifting meta incredibly well right now.
I will say, though, Ilios was close, and it was mostly close on the points where it wasn't necessarily GOATs. And if there's one map where I always feel that GOATs is rarely played outside of one stage, it is Oasis. So that might be the thought process behind this. That's also why we might potentially see a comeback starting to happen.
Yeah, I would love to see it. I would love to see Torbulance, dig deep here a little bit, and after getting punched in the mouth there on Hollywood, to come back in here and really at least put up a fight on Oasis. I think they have it in them. They obviously have some talented players. They just need to put it all together for one map here to bring things back. But it looks like they are potentially headed back to the old comfort pick of the 3-3.
Very much possible. But then again, if Rizzo sticks to this Sombra once again, it looks like they might be going for is that a 2-2-2 setup? No, I don't know what they're going to go for yet. Let's just see what they run out of spawn with. As you said before, going to see Torbulance here on that 3-3 composition, the classic one, but with the Winston. So that's a little bit of a different one. On the other side, we do see the same thing coming out, but it's a Reinhardt and a Sombra instead of the Winston and the Diva. So yeah, once again, Rizzo on the Sombra, and he's been doing a lot of damage with Ilios.
Certainly, and it might be a little bit of a problem here for Torbulance that they don't have an Ana of their own, no way to really capitalize on the lack of Diva. Those Bionades can be really backbreaking.
Maybe they'll switch. We'll see. For now, they are controlling the point on the side of the New England Whalers, and it's a good high ground contest here for the side of Torbulance. They're really trying to zap everything down. Druin is definitely getting up there with that charge, but it's just being hacked up right now, and they're able to just take out Lure. Sirius' mech is gone, and it looks like New England Whalers are just going to be taking this one in a relatively easy fashion for the first time around.
I gotta say, on some level, it kind of seemed like Torbulance really just dropped down there without much of a plan. They weren't really getting a lot of focus fire on an individual target, which needs to be the idea. If you're going to drop down from the high ground, give up your advantage in that way, you've got to try to find someone out of position or capitalize on that in some way.
And we could always speculate what the reason behind it is. Do they not have like one core shot caller, or was the decision-making split because of the previous 2 maps? Maybe they're shaking a little bit. What I do know, they're going to go in with the Reinhardt this time around, and not the Ana still. Tony is close to Transcendence, probably hold on to it for that reason. Racuna will already fall to Enigma, and meanwhile, they also had Lord just Slick just poking in their back line. Tony will fall serious out of mech, and once again, they're just retreating back into spawn because they don't want to take this fight anymore.
They lost their brig, thanks to a nice bio nade from Honey Badger, cut off all the healing for Racuna, and good job there by the New England Whalers to keep up the aggression at that point, to make sure that they could farm as much as possible in terms of ults.
Looks like they're going to be able to come back in with quite a few, but it's going to be the flank shatter attempt for Lucid. That actually gets something, but they had the backup of the EMP there. They didn't even need to kill anyone with the shatter because it's just Riso ready with the Q. They do get Druin, and that's really all they needed at that point because Tony will just fall off the map, and 65% and up, that's just going to be a good place to hold them here, just in their spawn doors.
Yeah, that's got to be nice for a Reinhardt as Lucid Science.
The grabs come out here, but the follow-up is there here for the New England Whalers. Snozzler falls, and there's a Transcendence from Tony as well. So, are they going to be able to actually win a fight here? It doesn't look like it, but maybe with that shatter, they could get something done. Enigma falls, but a huge Bionate from Honey Badger, maybe turning that around again. Once again, these plays are being made on both sides, but that all benefits the New England Whalers, who are ticking up to 97% here. Will someone touch? Yes, they will, and it looks like they finally won the fight, but that was a lot closer than I thought that was going to go.
No, definitely. They almost get held at there. Their spawn door's not even allowed to get to the point to trigger overtime. They will get the flip, but it's a long way to go here for Torbulance. You've now got to win every single fight from this point forward, and Riso is fast approaching another EMP.
And they're definitely ready for that EMP to come in pretty soon, but the high ground defense is looking good here so far from Torbulance. And they drop down again, which they haven't done before the point flipped. Then they could maybe get some kills here, but they dropped, like I said, they dropped a little late. Point is flipped. Druin's already down because of the EMP that just hit. And Tony does get the Constellation kill on the Honey Badger. The Transcendence could turn out around a lot because there's no anti-nade to block it. Self-destruct gets no one, a little bit too high, and it looks like they are turning it around nonetheless. Tony just putting his team on his back with the Transcendence and the following kills. Snozzler and Racuna on his sides. Rizzo gets out alive, but that's the only thing they got. A shame they let the point flip though.
Yeah, they stave off a loss here on Gardens, but they don't really get a whole lot out of that. So much percentage they could have accrued if only they stepped on the point a little bit quicker, and now they are running low on resources as we go into this next fight.
Neither team has a lot, and this time they don't let the point flip, so at least the percentage is going to keep ticking in their favor. Druin once again the first to fall, but are they going to be ready with anything else? No, the Shatter gets 2, and looks like Tony will also fall, and the grab just keeps Snozzler off the point for touching. Point flips, Lure is the last one left, and it looks like New England Whalers are going to keep their winning streak alive and just get a 1-0 on Oasis so far.
They are now going to be on the verge of sending Torbulance home out of this tournament and moving on up through the lower bracket.
Not only map point, but match point already up here for New England Whalers, and that's been a short one, guys. We haven't been going for that long, so yeah, I kind of hope that they get it back up here, and Torbulance just does a full reverse sweep, goes to map 5, just gets them in the end. That'd be amazing. I don't think it's going to happen, but it'd be amazing.
It would be amazing, or they can pull a San Francisco shock, get to the 5th map, the final decider, and then come up just a bit short. First they've got to start with baby steps. First, it's got to be the win here on University.
Yeah, University once again to 3-3, but both teams running the Sombra and the Ana this time around, so it's actually the 3-2-1. And yeah, Sombra. I mean, we see Snozzler played for the first time. This could work out very well for them.
certainly they are also switching Sirius over to the Zarya, normally the Diva player. So switching roles around a little bit. He gets the hack onto Riso. That could be nice, but they can't really do anything with it.
No, it turns out they can't so far. The point control is for now inside of New England Whalers, but they still can get a foot on it every now and then, it looks like. But Sirius, nice engine once again from Tony. Once again from Honey Badger. He gets that kill, but they pull it back. Lucid Signs and Enigma falling, so Druin being alive is going to be so important here for Torbulance. Biz will fall, and it looks like that's going to be point control. Just flip quickly back over to Torbulance, so they're putting up a little bit more of a fight than New England Whalers maybe was hoping.
I mean, Tony responds immediately with a beautiful Bionade of his own, manages to secure 2 kills for his team in that fight, and that is exactly what they needed to get off on the right foot here, to get a little bit of an edge in terms of ult charge pretty much across the board, and Snozlar ready for this first EMP.
Lure almost gets caught out on that flank by Enigma and Slick, but actually the EMP from Snozlar just doesn't really matter if he had died or Lure or not, because they're just cleaning them up right now. Slick can't even speed away because he's been hacked. Honey Badger will get cleaned up as well, it looks like. Even though he slept the Reinhardt, there's more than one hero there, so you won't get out alive. And now they can hold aggressively if they want to.
6-man EMP. What are you gonna do if you're the New England Whalers? You're gonna take your lumps and you're gonna come back in. Riso ready to go with one of his own. Torbulance, you said they could get aggressive, but they're just going to play back, let New England Whalers push into them.
Riso coming out with that EMP. It's about 2, not that much actually, but it's a nice anti-nade once again from Honey Badger, making sure that 2 kills come through. As I say that, they're being traded by Druin, the exact same heroes down, and that's a nice shatter from Druin. They get the pin onto Lucid Signs, but he got bubbled in time for that not to have any effect. Druin will fall instead, but the teams are relatively even still. It's actually going to go back and forth for a little bit more until Tony falls. Sirius will finally go down as well, and it looks like this is going to be a flip for New England Whalers, but 80% plus already accrued here for Torbulance, so they're doing a pretty good job here.
They do a fantastic job. They're going to get 85% here on the board. That is very likely one-fight territory. If they can win a decisive engagement here with Snozlar's EMP, then this could be going to a third map here on Oasis.
Yeah, Riso is definitely coming back. There's the EMP. Both grabs are out, but that means that the sound barrier of Slick that comes out a little bit later actually blocks all the follow-up from that EMP. Riso is down, so can't charge on the EMP and throw it out, but Lucid Science gets Tony and Druin. Sirius falls as well. Looks like this is going to be a hold coming out here for New England Whalers so far, but they have a little bit of a ways to go.
They do, but that was a very strong first step. Lucid Science with the Earth Shatter to really seal the deal there for the New England Whalers. And now they've got the EMP ready to go and nothing really to respond on the side of Torbulance.
They need to do this quick so they'll have another fight afterwards. There's the EMP, gets 5 this time around. The Nano is on the Druin, but he's not able to survive through that anti-nade and all that damage coming in. They only get Druin, now they also get Lure. So this fight is going to be over, and they're just going to have to reset. And they have time for that. They have one more very good fight and maybe another one after, but I think it's just going to be the one for both teams to decide this match, potentially.
Yeah, I think Torbulance probably just want to play this slow, but Riso
falling early. That's big. Snozlar is actually in very deep. It's close to an EMP, but we'll definitely get that mid-fight. And Lucid Science is going to have to come big with an Earth Shatter. Definitely looking for a one because the team is not together. But Druin blocks it. That's a huge activity coming out from Tony. And it looks like they're going to be able to clean this up. Are they going to get some stagger kills, though? Because they might need those in order to actually not have them come back on point.
There's definitely going to be a final fight here. Can Torbulance keep them from getting to the point? Unlikely with the Riso in play.
Riso is there. Lucid Science tried to drop in, but Lucid Science goes down, and Riso as well. Nice EMP that Snozlar had built up again. There's a shatter, and the grab to follow it up, and they're gonna take a stage. They're gonna extend this match for a little bit longer.
Okay, that's how it starts. But
that's how it starts. It's got to start somewhere. You're completely correct.
Exactly. So I'm hopeful here. We're probably going to have to see at least some changes coming out as we move over to City Center. Lucid Science will be picking up the Winston. That's the most likely change for both of these teams as we move over to a map where high ground a little bit more important.
Will Druid also switch though? Because if you're
You
running
don't
the
have to.
same composition and the other team only runs a Winston, the difference is not that big.
No,
Lucid
you
Science
definitely
actually goes
don't
back
have
over
to.
to the Reinhardt.
No,
So they're running the exact same compositions. We all know who came out on top last time. Will that be the same? It's all that remains to be seen.
Absolutely. You know, the Sombras both getting a little bit of scouting right now, and the fight taking place over towards the road side of things. Lucid Science already taking up position on the point, trying to get New England Whalers a defensive place to hold.
Reese almost getting booped into traffic. That's where you don't want to be playing in life and in the game. So right now it's just going to be a smacking of Reinhardt's, and Lure is going to fall to the whip shot of Enigma. Looks like the hags on Druin is just going to be too much. And New England Whalers are going to take first point control. So they're going to be starting out this map pretty well.
They are going to be starting out perfectly as they look to close things out here on City Center. Enigma getting the nice solo kill, or the kill onto Lure, who is poking around the edge for a little bit of damage, but extends a little too far away from his team and gets punished for it nicely. Now, the Nana boost starting on. Oh wow, that's
really nicely done. Risa will likely have it almost at the same time. It's a tiny window, but it does happen. So Biz and Lucid Science and Slick are hacked up. Biz and Lucid Science immediately fall, and that's going to be your Reinhardt Zarya gone. You're not going to be wanting to try to defend anymore, even though this is a very stally point. Not going to happen. And a quick retake here, only 34% accrued.
Getting that first EMP out though is huge. It puts you up significantly, just because you'll be able to start charging yours while Riso is getting in position to use his. So very well played from the side of Torbulance. They know exactly what they want to do there, but Noslar.
Yeah, got hacked up, so couldn't translocate out. Has 40% towards the next EMP. That's like you said, a lot of charge advantage here. But there's the EMP from the other side, gets 5, so everyone who was still alive there. And they will likely clean it up pretty quickly, but it's going to be Druin alive last. No, it's Sirius is alive last. 34%. Once again, not the exact same percentage. Turbulence actually coming out ahead with 2 there. But Snozzler, 50% towards that next one. Their EMP rotation definitely increasing.
Certainly, and they're going to have nearly every other ultimate online as they enter this fight. The EMP will hopefully come online during it, but if you're Turbulence, you're really looking to hold on to that ultimate even through this next fight.
Yeah, you don't need that one. They have plenty of to work with. There's the Nana one that's serious, and he's got that Graviton ready. There it goes onto Honey Badger and Biz. They don't get the kill just yet. There is Honey Badger down. That's all your healing gone, essentially, because just to bring in a Lucio, they do some healing, not as much as the Nana. Lucid Science, it's just getting stunned up, charged up, blocked up, anti-nated, and taken out. Riso loses the 1v1 through Snozzler, and that means Snozzler will have a very good opportunity to win the fight outright with an EP next one.
Certainly he could. He's got to be looking for Slick, either with that initial EMP, with another hack, or perhaps even waiting until after the sound barrier comes in. You know, that's the tool if New England Whalers want to try to survive through this Sombra ult.
Snows are definitely in the flanks watching for the enemy team. Don't know if they've seen the Lucio, and I think he's looking for it a little bit. Doesn't hit him quite there. There's the sound barrier from Slick, very well timed. Truin doesn't hit anyone with the charge, but doesn't need to because Lucid Science and Enigma still go down, even though the barrier was there. The damage also was. Rakuna's anti-nated body will not fall, and it's actually just going to be the retreat coming out here from New England Whalers. They have the EMP line for the next one, but they have to make some tempo in order to get that done.
Certainly, they have to avoid going down here at the end. They do get a sleep on the Snozzler, so Torbulance having to extend out a little bit to save him. He does get to translocate back.
Yeah, Lucid Science anti-nated once again. He does get the shatter off, but will fall. And Druin not being able to be followed up on because he was both nanoed and just got the bubbles on him. There's another grab from Sirius. It looks like Torbulence is actually doing this. They're pulling this back. They're going to win Oasis here. Pull the map to a 2-1, and it's going to be a continuation of the match, guys.
That is what I like
incoming.
To see. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, Torbulence. This is the first map they've won, so now they finally get the ban map. We are already missing 2 assault maps from the pool. Are they going to ban the third one? That's the question. Or are they thinking, nah, the enemy team is never going to pick it because they banned the other two, so we might as well just ban another one so we don't... Because, I mean, they're never going to pick Assault, so we effectively ban 2 maps at the same time.
Certainly, and the last Assault map, of course, is Temple of Anubis, so I honestly think that would be a pretty good map for Turbulence, considering what we just saw. They seem to have, found something there on Oasis, swapping over to the Sombra 321.
Maybe
really
have a
gave
better
them
Sombra.
some new life. I mean, that was a phenomenal turnaround for them. Can they keep the momentum going?
And you know what another positive is? Everyone watching, you got more time to vote on your MVPs, more decisions to make. If you haven't voted yet, you still don't have to, because the match is still not over. Take your time, vote on the player you like most underneath. If you're on DLive, just hop over to Twitch, click the vote if you want to, and then go back to DLive. Because obviously, watch whatever platform you want. We just don't have polls there, unfortunately. And while you're at it, you know what? Just hop on over to that follow button or maybe the sub button. We have them, so you can use them, and we appreciate you using them. So we hope to see more of those coming in. If not, we'll still keep doing this because we love it. But yeah, really hoping to see that happen. And while you're at it, if nothing's happening on the screen, hop over to omnicoach.gg. I mean, they really support us, so we love them for it. And you might even want to buy something from them. And if you're going to buy a video package, you can actually get some discounts. 10% off using the codes Star Esports for that one. And you'll get a discount. So that's a really nice one. And OmniCoach has some pretty fun stuff. So you can definitely improve your game a little bit with that.
Absolutely. Maybe you can, make the improvements that we are seeing out of Turbulence right now. They are improving right before our eyes. Here in this series. Very well played there on Oasis to keep themselves alive in this tournament. They are in winner die mode right now. This is an elimination match, of course, so they are fighting for their tournament lives, and they are not going to go down easy.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you don't want to go down easy as well. Like, then you just be the team that went down easy. But that's not who they are. They're the team that's gonna fight until the end, and I would hope that every team is like that. But definitely excited to see what they can bring out with this one. Gonna be going over to obviously a different map soon. Torbulance gets the ban and map out. We just have to wait a little bit for their decision. Looks like there's gonna be some bio breaks for a little bit. So until that comes back, we can talk about a lot of things, honestly. I mean, we've seen a lot of different things come out. Yeah, do you think that they didn't necessarily ran the Sombra goats better than New England Whalers did?
I definitely think they were getting a little bit more value out of their EMP, and I think the biggest thing, when you are running the 3-2-1 into each other, it really comes down to these minute differences. And one of the big ones that I saw on both those sub maps that Turbulence won was that they were charging the EMP just a little bit quicker in those early fights. They were getting it online slightly before reso, and when that happens, you just get the ball rolling in your direction. You are cycling them faster, and that's always going to be a recipe for success.
Yeah, it looked like success for them because they won the map with it, obviously. Are we gonna see more of that, do you think? Or are you just gonna continue out the Sombra goats and just say, like, you know what, you want to run it against us, we're just gonna run it more and better? Or is it gonna be more map dependent, you think?
I would not be surprised at all, or I would expect Turbulence to continue running it, because that was by far the best they've looked so far here tonight. New England Whalers have shown us a little bit more kind of versatility so far tonight, so I don't think they're necessarily married to the idea of running the Sombra necessarily. They've given us a bunch of different looks, a lot of it featuring the Orisa from Lucid Science, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them go back to that, especially now that they have map pick, which means that they get to choose the battleground.
Yeah, they do. And we're going to see Anubis being banned out, so that is the last assault map being gone. Going to be seeing them go to Numbani, it looks like.
Okay.
Or not?
No, it looks.
Maybe.
Yes,
No,
we are
no.
we are going to Numbani.
Numbani is going to be the map. I'm looking forward to that one. Numbani is my favorite map in the game, potentially. And apparently, they also like it on the side of New England Whalers. But we saw New England Whalers play that Clockwork Vendetta comp. Is that something they can do on Numbani as well?
In my mind, it's a little bit harder to run here on Numbani. The first point is a lot more open than you saw on Hollywood. A lot easier for different mobility-based compositions to get in and around, or perhaps different long-range poke DPS to get different angles and fire in on you. I think it would be a little bit more difficult here for New England Whalers to roll out with that.
Yeah, it might be, but on the other hand, they did look so well in Hollywood. They might just take the risk, right?
Yeah, no, I don't think this is like an ideal map for that composition by any means, but definitely playable here. And if you're running it to the level that New England Whalers was the first time around, I would not be surprised at all to see them run that, because if we remember, Torbulance was really at a loss for how to handle it, at least on Hollywood. Now the same problem that plagued them there, the one central choke point that you've got to get through, is no longer really an issue on Numbani. So that could make it a little bit less one-sided.
Yeah, it definitely could, but then again, it also depends on how it's being attacked to and how it's being defended. Still waiting for a little bit for the teams to get into the actual match, because obviously, they've been playing 3 maps in a row. They deserve a little bit of a water. But looks like we're actually going to go into the map now. And it's once again going to be the New England Whalers attacking first here. So just like on Hollywood, they're going to get the first attack here. Obviously, they won Hollywood relatively, I would say pretty convincingly. That was the least close map of the 3. And yeah, I mean, they're looking to probably do the same here. But will they be able to? That's the main question, of course.
No, they are obviously confident enough in this map to take us here, and they've looked quite strong throughout the entire series, pretty much no matter what they run. So I'm interested to see what they turn to here. Numbani, a great map for seeing something like Farah, as well as plenty of other DPS picks coming out. You've got fantastic angles to lay in damage from afar, really poke people down. So I like what I'm seeing, at least initially, from New England Whalers. We'll see if it's real. But as we suspected, the Sombra is still going to be featured heavily for Torbulance.
Yeah, looks like it. They're gonna run this Winston Winston Goats or dive D 3-2-1 defense, really, with the Sombra Snozzler on that. Looks like potentially DPS attack coming out though.
No, and that doesn't surprise me at all, given what we've seen from the Whalers here tonight. And I'll be bringing out the triple DPS. So, like I said, a lot of long-range poke coming out here from the Ashe, the Hanzo, Enigma up on the far out with the Mercy of Slick in tow.
I'm waiting a little bit in spawn, obviously seeing what's going to come out, so they might switch a few things up. But what are going to change to? Looks like a Reinhardt Lucio. It looks like they just want to go goats. Oh, yep. Sombra. So it's going to be the Reinhardt and Winston. That's going to be the main difference. Obviously, already some ult percentage poked up here for the defense, though.
Certainly, but better to make that swap now than to try and fail and then do it.
Oh, Tony, just the sleep dart got someone, but loses his life for that one. Lucid Signs got hacked up, but will just be able to swing around. Sirius loses the mech as well. Looks like a pretty good attack start here so far, but that might have been more on the back of a misplay for the defense rather than a very good play from the offense, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, Torbulance go for a really aggressive play there to drop down with Tony, included in the members going to the low ground, and he just is in an awkward spot there, gets collapsed on by the New England Whalers, and
I think we have a disconnect coming out. Yeah, we have a disconnect coming out here from the New England Whalers. That's why we're on a pause. A little bit, sorry about that, guys. Biz is a bit busy apparently. We'll get back into this shortly, but
this is it's never a good time for a disconnect to happen, but at least it happened after they had already secured point A, so it doesn't come at kind of a crucial fight changing moment. The only thing is Biz is of course going to lose a little bit of his ult charge that he built up over the course of that first fight, but not the biggest loss in the world for the New England Whalers.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a pretty good sound in my background of like the pointers capping, you know, like a bzzz, but that's fine. You know, it's that's whatever to me, really. We are gonna go back, of course, as soon as we get something. But for the meantime, we can just talk a little bit about, you know, Numbani as a map, because are they gonna be able to run like their compositions on, like, you know, as soon as they get to different parts of the map, or is it something they can just keep running here?
I mean, neither team really has much reason to change their comp at this point. You know, if anything, they really only get better as the map goes on. You know, you could make a distinction between first and second point that, you know, 3-3 might get a little bit worse as you move on to the streets phase, at least, especially with the Reinhardt, but still viable all the way through. And once you get to that final point, going to probably be your best option across the board.
Yeah, it looks like they want to hold on to that. What I do want to note though is that Snozzler is just again ahead in that EMP charge. That's very well done. I mean, they lost the first fight, but they at least accrue quite a bit of ult percentage on a lot of heroes that are like valuable. So that's not too bad.
Not too bad. They do swap Druin over to the Reinhardt, so of course lose all the percentage from that. So we're kind of on even footing realistically when it comes to ultimates. Neither team with a massive advantage. You know, the Whalers across the board a little bit higher. You know, Honey Badger already has that nano boost online, whereas Tony went down first, only at 24%. That's a pretty sizable hole, and in my mind probably gives New England a good bit of momentum as they continue to push forward. Snozzler's EMP probably going to be the first best opportunity for Torbulance to really make a stand.
Yeah, and it looks like we're gonna get the last player back in a little bit. It won't be too long from now. So, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to the continuation of this map because we've only seen a little bit of it, of course. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. Like it's just how long this always takes. You never really know because you're always, you know, waiting for any info as well. But it looks like we might be able to get going soon.
We'll get there when we get there.
We'll get there when we get there. In the meantime, though, guys, go to omnicoach.gg. You know, just click on their website. Just look what they have. Maybe you actually want to use that 10% discount that you get with Star Esports promo code. So, you know, that's something you could potentially do. Meanwhile, while you're waiting, you could also listen to us because we have a lot to tell you about. Or you could even, you know, make some more decisions on your pros and cons list at the MVP. You know, who do you want on there? Who do you not want on there? And you just eliminate player by player per second that they play. I don't know what you want to do.
Yeah. That's been kind of thrown into the air a little bit here with Torbulance.
Yeah, right.
At least getting their first map of the series. Now, maybe not as easy a choice as it might have been beforehand, but it looks like Biz is back into the game, so we should be getting underway shortly.
Yeah, sorry about that. I don't like making jokes with names, but I just have to. So we're just gonna get back into it. 3, 2, 1, and it's gonna be another go. And obviously, you still haven't cap point A because that's what's gonna happen first. They're gonna get another 2.5 minutes.
The sweet relief of that noise going away is it's music to my ears.
It means you can finally focus on life again. Now we're gonna see Snozzler obviously be a little bit ahead in that EMP charge. He's gonna go in soon. So we're 85% up to that. Does a good job of that. Like Rizzo is not getting as much opportunity to do damage, it seems.
No, and that's been consistent, you know, throughout their head-to-head so far tonight. They haven't played a ton against each other.
He goes in, gets 5. No, doesn't get Rizzo, but doesn't have to because Lucid Signs, Biz, and Slick already down. It's gonna be the definitely good fight when here. Snozzler even gets the melee on the Rizzo there, which puts the icing on the cake there. And Now they have a good position to hold because this is their strong corner for the defense.
And they don't have to invest any other ultimates into that fight. They can build up to nearly everything else in their tool chest. So in a very good spot here, especially as that hack forces Lucid Science to back off a bit.
I will back off, of course. You don't want to stick around. We don't have to. Honey Badger falls to Snozzler. Nice assassin work there from that Sombra. And they're just going to be aggressively pushing them back into spawn with that rally. And Snozzler just building up to the next TMP. Rizzo has his. But are they going to get the space to really use and follow up on that?
Certainly, and look at how Torbulance are set up right now. They are so spread out. There's no way you're ever gonna...
Snozzler just hacks up Rizzo, so even if they wanted to go with the EMP, it wasn't ready. Rizzo just gets shattered up as well. We'll finally be able to use it and gets a few, and they get the shatter to follow up, but they have to use so much to get through that, and they invest so much. They lose so much time. They had 5 minutes 20 starting off on that.
Certainly, so a pretty valuable hold there from Torbulance to bleed that down, because you don't want a team getting point A on the first attack and then just steamrolling through point B. You don't want to have to pin all your hopes on a last stand at point C. So they do their best to buy themselves some time, bleed some ultimates out of the New England Whalers, and now they get to come back in here for another fight on Street's face.
Well, they do get to come back, of course. Payload is going around the corner, but they go around them. They get Rizzo. They just find the translocator and get him. And they're going to be able to stop the payload in time as well. Snozzler on the card. They try to zone them out with the grab, but it wasn't enough. They don't get the follow-up. And it looks like the fight's splitting up in a few different places. But Lucid Science gets the nano charge onto Sirius. So Sirius will actually fall to that. Normally, Sorry doesn't care, but with the nano, it's just extra damage. Now it's going to be Snozzler, ready with the EMP. They're throwing it out. Will they get some kills? Will they get the follow-up? It looks like Biz is in a little bit of trouble. Will not get out alive from that. Neither will Snozzler, but that looks like it's going to be the defense actually trading out pretty well, so this could potentially still go to them. Lucid Science goes very deep on his own. He has the backing of his Ana, but gets shattered. So this might actually be the counter kill onto the Reinhardt. Meanwhile, just a Brigitte and Sirius on the point, and they will finally fall. So the attackers will force it through. But that's what it was. They really had to force it through.
Yeah, Torbulance not going down without a fight here on Numbani, but they are going to have to buckle down on this final defense. Still over 3 minutes to work with for the side of the New England Whalers. Rizzo with this EMP ready to go, and absolutely nothing to stop it for Torbulance.
They really don't have anything to stop it, but they might not need to stop it. Just losing one fight is sometimes fine. Snozzler already down, so they're definitely not going to win this one. They could just force it. They could force out the EMP, but they're just running back defensively. So this is potentially one fight territory. Rizzo hits a good one. The shatter of Lucid Science not getting much, and Rizzo gets slept. They get the Sombra. No EMP from Rizzo, and they also got Enigma in the meantime. They have such good awareness of the Sombra. Tony really showing up on that Ana today.
And now they're on the chase. They're trying to hunt down New England Whalers, but they might have gone a step too far.
Nano onto Lucid. Oh, Lucid is Nano. Doesn't have anywhere near the shatter, so that's the consolation kill, because they really were scared of that one, I think. But they managed to zone them away a little bit. Rizzo's still ready for the EMP. Might throw it out here. Does exactly that. But meanwhile, the Graf has locked up his entire team. Will they get the follow-up? Racuna with the Nano Brigitte is certainly trying. And the flank shatter from Druid was all the way behind them. They get the kill on the Honey Badger for that. Racuna falls, but I think you're going to want to have an Ana more than you want to have a Brig. There's the Graf coming out from Biz with the sound barrier from Lure. It's just... They're trading out these ultimates, and it's all in the defensive favor because they buy time, they buy resources, and they still have the EMP in their rally to go. This fight's not over yet. It's just going to continue on. And the EP is going to come out here soon from Snozzler, I feel. There it is. Gets enough, but Slick gets the counter sound barrier. They're just drawing resource after resource from each other. And this fight, it looks like it's going to come to a climax. This is where it has to happen. This is where the defense has to hold or fold. Enigma on the ground will get taken out because of that sleep dart. Another Nano onto Lucid Science. Will he get the shatter? He gets it onto Sirius. Does he get the kill? No, because the boops away are so good. Meanwhile, Druin just holds the front line. Honey Badger going incredibly low, but that anti-nade doesn't quite reach him. They do manage to push them back, though. Lucid Science and Sliver of Health will fall. Honey Badger is trying to make their great escape, and they do make it. I think almost in back cap from Rizzo,
yes,
but not quite.
Slick
That
was
so much happening. Oh.
He was hiding behind them. If Turbulence had pushed forward just a little bit further, that back cap would have been on. But they are mindful of
Good
the
awareness.
cars. Yeah, that's
awareness.
very easy to lose track of in a fight that chaotic.
I'm gonna lean back for a little bit and let you do the talking because that was a long one.
That one just went on. The fight that never ends for Turbulence there eventually come up with a win. They're going to start this one off with the grab.
The counter nano was so good from Honey Badger though. The nano onto it's over. That's over. That's the point. Yep. That's it. I mean, too much happened. The grab was good, but the follow-up from the attackers was just better. New Whalers overpowered that one, but I think this was overtime or slightly not. I missed.
No,
it.
I believe they had about 20 seconds.
3 seconds.
Something.
30. Oh, that's actually quite decent, but it's under a minute, so any completion will be enough for Turbulence here. Of course,
certainly
we're gonna look for them to do more than just completion, but who knows?
Certainly, and for Turbulence, given how quickly Point A fell, pretty much immediately, the first fight was all it took. To force it down to 30 seconds is not a terrible defensive effort from that point forward. They were just so behind the 8-ball that they can't quite come up with the stop there at the end. Snozlar was at like 92% of his EMP in that final fight. So if he's just a little bit faster there, they might have a chance. But that's the kind of razor's edge that we're playing right now. These teams are very closely matched, and those little moments make all the difference.
They definitely do, and it's all about those little moments. Like you said, it's just the small things of a nice anti-nade, even though your team is grabbed, and just denying follow-up in certain situations. Looks like we do see that Clockwork-ish come out again, but this time Riso is going to be on the Sombra, not on the Roadhog itself. That's different.
That is an interesting look. It kind of works here on Nimbani. The Roadhog perhaps a little bit harder to land a lot of hooks on this. You're going to have teams coming across on the opposite high ground. Not a ton of opportunities for halts to really catch people off. So they're just going to be going for the hacks instead for Riso.
Looks like they're going to be able to do. I think we're getting a pause request here. Might not be honored. There it is. Timeout is definitely happening right now. So we're going to get a little bit of a wait until we continue. Yeah. But that should be fine. I mean, it's not a problem to wait every now and then. So let's see what they're gonna go in on, because they're running, like you said, we're running this Clockwork style competition again, but with Riso on the Sombra, not on the Roadhog. So it's even less of a bunker than it was last time.
No, absolutely. The problem is it doesn't really need to be a bunker, because there's no way for Torbulance to really put a ton of pressure on this. They're going to put pressure on the point, but they are not really going to have an easy way to access this high ground defense of the New England Whalers. It'll be interesting to see how is New England going to capitalize on hacks from Riso, because they can't really push into Turbulence. They're going to have to do it with the range damage from the high ground. It'll be interesting to see how they make that work.
Definitely will be, and they don't necessarily have to change a lot, of course, and they could just not if they don't want to. But they did, so now they're gonna have to show us what those changes mean, what they can do for everyone. And I'm excited. I definitely wanna see what this turns into. Because as a European, I love Clockwork Vendetta. And as an Overwatch fan, I love Clockwork Vendetta, the Clockwork Vendetta style as well. So I'm really looking forward to it once again, and I hope we can get back to the game soon, because otherwise, I mean, we can speculate all we want, but it looks like getting the game back is going to be better for us, because then we can actually see what happens. And on the side of New England Whalers, they're ready. Turbulence also looks to be ready, I think. Maybe they get some. Not just yet. You call for a pause, you have to wait until the other team's ready too, guys. That's how that works. It's okay, though. We'll get into it eventually. And like we said, this could be the last map once again, but we said that last time, and then it really didn't turn out to be the case there. So, you know what? We're just going to see what happens here.
Okay. It looks like both teams are ready to get underway here. It's going to be really interesting for me to see, where does Turbulence really focus their attention. If you turn all of your attention towards this high ground setup, you're going to be giving Riso a lot of free poke, an easy way to build up this EMP very quickly.
It could be that way, but it could also be that they're just not going to get that EMP, because Snozzler has the Sombra as well. Gonna go around the edge here to the high ground, and they've really taken point. They've at least gotten to the quote-unquote choke they couldn't through last time, right? They made it here. They lost Raccoona on the way, but it looks like they're fine. They're not being walled off. Druin is fine here, and they're just gonna be poking for a little bit. Snozzler and Riso, once again, Snozzler ahead in the EMP charge, but that might not be the only ultimate that matters in this situation. Tony, gets caught out by Biz's turret, and Sirius will fall as well. So first fight not going to the way of Turbulence here, and they're gonna have to find another way in. I mean, the way in was fine, but the way to actually start fighting is gonna be a little bit of a different story.
Yeah, I mean, they do still have their problems with getting in, of course, there with Raccoona getting picked off on the entry. Now deciding to swap over to the Genji. They want to perhaps, make use of this Dragon Blade to put some real pressure on this, Clockwork-esque setup.
Now, can they do it though? That's the main question, because they're switching over to this dive though. But we talked about that before, that hasn't really been an answer that we commonly see work. Raccoona gonna go over the high ground on the Genji. At least they can just get onto the high ground without having to walk through the stairs. That's the main thing. Druin immediately jumps up. Sirius following Raccoona as well. They get a lot of burst damage, but they don't get any final kills. Druin almost gets frozen up, or at least gets hacked. Sirius out of the mech already. The tanks are gone here. Tony will fall. Lure as well. And it looks like another failed attempt here. They almost got a tick, but not quite.
No, not quite, and that's pretty rough. Would have liked to at least get that permanent progress on the board, because now over half of your time bank already gone for Turbulence here, and you are about to be pushing into 6 ultimates on the side of New England Wales. You haven't been able to force anything out of them so far. You haven't made them uncomfortable. Perhaps Snozzler's EMP and a follow-up blade from Raccoona is the way to do that, but it's gonna have to be well executed.
And they're gonna have to get it done somehow, but how is still the question, because they've got potentially EMP Nano Blade, but the defensive EMP comes out from Riso, so it looks like another reset coming out first. But meanwhile, they're burning defensive resources, so it's both the EMP and the Supercharger out already.
Certainly, I mean, this next engagement really kind of needs to be the one.
It has to be
from
it's
Turbulence.
The last one as well. The time they're taking to take these engagements, they don't have the time to do much more than one.
Yeah, Slick could really put throw a wrench into the plans of Turbulence here, though. With this Transcendent, could be the answer to that Nano Blade.
Very well could be. Will we see it come out? We also have the Molten Core and the Blizzard, of course. They could definitely be answers too. The EMP has to be big here. It's going to be the Blade coming out, but he just gets slept into the lava. Anti-dated as well. Does still get Honey Badger. Lucid Signs falls as well. Raccoona will go finally down to Riso. They've gotten some kills here on both sides. It's just going to be Biz and Enigma running back in, trying to do the damage. One tick will be captured, but can they sustain? Can they keep onto this point? Even with Riso coming back in on that Sombra, it looks so good here for the defense. And it looks like they're going to hold on once again. Series going down. No more Orisa, but it's not needed because only 9 seconds left. And, I mean, can they even make it to the point? That's now the main question I have. Not even are they going to win the map. Are they going to make it to the point? And with that sleep dart, he barely makes it. But meanwhile, he and 3 others fall is just going to be New England Whalers holding on once again. And we said it. It was going to be different, but it could still work, and it worked.
It worked wonders for them. Biz and Enigma there at the end, staying alive through that all-in push from Turbulence, and then being able to come back in, slowly whittle down the remaining members of Turbulence and clear them from the point. Fantastic performance from those DPS players on the side of New England Whalers, and they earned their victory here tonight.
Definitely did, and it wasn't a walkover. It's the second non-3-0 game we've seen in the tournament so far. So good on New England Whalers for pulling that one back, and they've been showing up in the last 2 tournaments that we've seen them in. So good for them that they get to continue. Unfortunately, that does mean that Torbulance has a relatively early exit from the tournament. Maybe not what they'd hoped for, but they still got to show something. They didn't go down without a fight, and if there's anything, that's what you got to commend them for, and what we're going to be watching them for, and what they ever do in the future.
Yeah, and it's nothing to be ashamed of for Torbulance here. I know this is a relatively new kind of group of players in particular. They haven't been playing together for too long, whereas New England Whalers, pretty established. Most of this team, this core, has been with this squad for quite a while now. So they, are coming into this a little bit more prepared tonight, a little bit more practiced and rehearsed, especially on some of those unique compositions that we saw on Numbani and on Hollywood, where they really took control of the series.
Yeah, and you still have a little bit of time to vote for your MVP, so do it quickly before we close the tab and announce the results. While we let you vote, we do have someone lovely in the chat here. Who do we have joining us? Welcome to the chat and congratulations.
Hello.
It is Honey Badger from the New England Whalers, fresh off their triumphant victory. And I gotta say, very, very strong performance on the Ana here tonight. I was really impressed with everything you brought to the table.
Oh, thank you very much. I've been working hard to up my Ana game, so.
Well, it is definitely paying off.
Yeah, I really have only one question, and it's a little bit of a loaded one, obviously. But you played a little bit of that Torbjorn May and the Arista composition, and you made a change with Sombra. Is it like a theme you see coming to North America, or like just the meta in general right now?
I mean, it's good on certain points. Like if you can give your backline high ground, and just contest point with your May, it's kind of free a lot of the time. There's not a whole lot they can do, and they ran dive into that, and our Torb and May kind of destroy them on that, so it confuses people more than anything.
But it's like it's not something that you see a lot happening just in general right now, like in scrims, etc.
It does happen sometimes, but I think the rumored 2-2-2 lock might actually not be so amazing for it. It might be okay, but I don't know. It's a good composition, but I don't think it's going to be the meta,
Okay.
And I mean,
that was my main question.
Yeah, for you guys, it was one of many things that we saw throughout the match here tonight. You were really flexing around the board in terms of compositions and individual hero picks as well. Is that's something that you guys are kind of actively striving for, to be as flexible as possible?
Oh yeah, we're looking to be good and scary on every single comp we can come up with. So we're looking to, pick the right composition for every single map, every single match. Like who are we playing against? What are they favoring? Let's pick a comp to beat that. So we're looking to be well-rounded.
Yeah, able to fit into whatever situation is thrown at you. Speaking of which, towards the end of this series, Torbulance seemed to kind of start to find something a little bit with running the Sombra 3-2-1 comps. Were there any adjustments that you guys made going into the last map to really, change your play style at all?
I don't think too much, actually. I think they played pretty well on Sombra Goats. And I personally think one of the best ways to beat Sombra Goats, other than doing a whole lot of DPS, is just Sombra Goats them better. So we just worked on our own Sombra Goats, try and focus up on the ult economy, try to make as few mistakes with that as possible. So.
Okay, well that was definitely a recipe for success here tonight for the New England Whalers. Of course, now you are making your way through the lower bracket, avoiding elimination here tonight. Is there any team out there in the tournament that you have your eye on, that you might want to get a chance to go up against as we move forward?
I have no idea, honestly. We're just here to beat everyone, you know?
Well, that's a mentality that I like to hear. It's in my mind a good way to approach everything. That about covers it for me, man of class. If you have anything else, if not, Honey Badger, now is the perfect. Oh,
I mean, look, I can ask like a billion questions that would probably not interest anyone. So I won't. I will ask you though if you have any shout outs you want to do to anyone. Like it can be positive, negative, whatever you want. Just keep it, Twitch rated. If that makes sense.
Sure. I'd like to shout out our org guy, Ryan. He's been putting in a whole lot of work to get us to the point where we are, keeping us all together and functioning still. He's been doing a fantastic job at that. I'd also like to shout out my boy Zoros, who was on standby in case, Biz's internet went out. So appreciate both of them a whole lot. Meant a lot.
Okay, well, I mean, obviously the internet was almost necessary, but not quite. But always good to have that bench player. Well, we'd like to congratulate you still with the win. Unfortunately, you didn't get the viewers MVP. That went to Druin. So congratulations to Druin for that one. Maybe you'll get it next time, and maybe we'll get to talk to you again next time when we see you get another win, because it is always in the cards. For now, it's a good night for you, and also a good break for us, because we're going to be back in about 25 minutes for the next match. Until then, we're going to give you guys some breathing room. Go to omnicoach.gg. Use your discount codes and order a video package, or at least see what they're all about, because they're a really nice platform to work with. And other than that, we'll see you in the next edition of the next match, which is starting in 25 minutes, of the Star Esports Brawl. All-Stars Brawl, I might add. And I've been Man of Class. Next to me was Shy Guy. And once again, we'll see you in a little bit.